Hey, what did I do to you guys? Why did y'all make me do so much math for this Q&A? I had to stretch my brain so hard. I haven't done some of this math since like 8th grade. But I've got a lot of math that I'm doing in this month's Q&A, and it's going to be kind of funny to watch because, yeah, it's Jimmy doing math. So, hey everybody, my name's Jimmy. I'm drinking some Green Mountain coffee, and this is Coffee and Trains. I want to give a big thank you to this week's sponsor, Model Railroad Academy. They have all sorts of videos, tutorials, tips, and tricks for all sorts of model railroading things. You can check them out at the link in the description. And right now, you can get your first full year of premium membership for $1.49. That's like 90% off of what the normal price is. And you can check that out at the link in the description below. It's Model Railroad Academy. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. If you want to tell me what kind of coffee you are drinking and be featured just like these guys right here, you can do that in the comments below, and who knows, you might see your name pop up on an episode of Coffee and Trains. By the way, this is the monthly Q&A that I answer you guys' questions. If you want to figure out how to get your question answered on next month's Q&A, listen at the end of this video. Cheers, guys. Tibor asks, where is the best place to get T-track modules from so that I can use super elevated curves? Well, the place that I use Klondike's as my #1 source. I've also used RS laser kits. Those are the two main places that I've got them. You can also build them from scratch. I have done that before. But those are the two main places. I'll link Klondike's and RS laser kits in the description below. I actually just got a new pack of them in Z scale for Klondike's most recently. But yeah, that's the places to go for those. Andy's Indiana Trains asks, what would be the dimensions I would need to make a double T-track module that would extend all the way from one side of the table to the other so that they would have a double main on each side, and then they have room for something larger like a Kato turntable. Okay, so a double module I think is about 24.4, somewhere in there. I'll put the exact measurements right here. And then the width would need to be about 28 and some change. I'm going to put the exact dimensions right here, but this is the dimensions that you would need in terms of the length and the width, and obviously the height needs to be the standard, but that's what you would need right there, is roughly 24.4 by 28 and a little bit extra on that. That would be what you would need. Cannibal Chow asks, what do I think about the new Kato website and their in-browser layout builder? I love the new Kato website. They didn't have a bad website to begin with, but now their website's really, really nice, and I love that you can order stuff more directly rather than having to go to a separate website. But the in-browser layout builder is really, really cool. I've only played around with it just a little bit, but overall it is a fantastic little thing that you can add into that. So absolutely love the new website that Kato's done. They've done a really good job with it. And yeah, I can't wait to do more with that in-browser layout builder. I'll link it in the description. The Trainman 2.0 asks, what are my favorite steam and diesel locomotives? One is going to be, if you know me, it's going to be obvious, at least for my collection, it's going to be the Y6B. I just love that one. That's my favorite steam engine that I have. That's probably my favorite overall. And then my favorite diesel locomotive, this one's going to be surprised because I don't think I actually have one in my collection right now, but I need to get some, is an Alco RS3. Darth Maul Vader asks about my models on Patreon, how does it work, and what scales do I have in it? And then he also asks about a model railroad video game called Rolling Line, and if I've played it. So let's talk about Patreon first. Yes, I do have models on my Patreon. It's $5 a month. Whenever they're released, and you can go back and look at the previous post, there is a password that is updated that is given to you to access the portion of the website of my website that you can get to those models, and I think there's like 60 some odd models. Now, I'm recently decided to shift the way that I do model releases, building a new model once a month over just about everything that I've done has gotten really, really difficult recently. I've had a lot more going on in my personal life and my day job and all that kind of stuff. So it's gotten really hard to sit down and design a model along with everything else. So I've decided to do a couple of collections per year. That's going to equal out to the same amount of models roughly. You'll just get them in little batches. But that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, you just go to the website, and for the most part, I'll do in HO scale and Z. Those are the easiest ones to do. And those are also the ones for the models that I do that fit on a 3D printer. For some of my smaller models, like if I do vehicles, I'll do O scale as well. But a lot of times with O scale, there's a lot of other options for that. So, but yeah, most part I have in HO and sometimes some Z scale. You also ask, have I ever messed with a game called Rolling Line? I have, actually. So back when I had a PC, I had it on... You also ask, have I ever messed with a game called Rolling Line? I have. Back when I had a PC, I'm on Mac now, I had it on Steam, and I actually connected it to a Oculus, the VR headset, and I've done it in VR, and it's a really, really cool thing. I wish I could get back into it with Mac, but right now it's just PC as far as I know, but really, really cool idea. Not a generic name, 6183. You were right, that is not a generic name. Ask that since I model Engage, have you ever seen any 009 layouts in this scale? And it's always really impresses them, and it always really impresses me too. So for those that don't know, 009 is 00 scale, which is the most popular scale in Great Britain. And that is a narrow gauge of 00. So it runs on N-gauge track, but it's 00 scale. So basically it's kind of the equivalent of HON 30 here, I believe. I think HON 3 is the TT, and then HON 30 uses N-gauge track. But yes, I have seen 009 stuff. I know that Kato has released 009 engines along with a lot of other places. I think that Bachmann, actually, they call it HON 30 here, but they have they have 009 engines that you can run as well. They have all of the narrow gauge engines from Thomas. But I really love 009 and narrow gauge like that. I love European narrow gauge. It's one of my favorite things with model railroading. I think that ties back into both my love of garden railroading, and LGB has a lot of those narrow gauge engines and narrow gauge style engines. And also I grew up on Thomas, so the narrow gauge engines in Thomas are always one of my favorites. R. Adams is asking about buying the Kato V3 switching pack. For those of you who don't know, Kato has track packs in addition to the individual track pieces that you can buy. They have loops, they have add-ons and things like that. And V3 is a switching setup. And this guy wants to build a switching layout, and he's been looking at and trying to find a good place to buy it and any recommendations. So, for recommendations, I would always say Train World. Sometimes you can find on Factory Direct Hobbies. I've been using Iron Planet Hobbies a lot recently. I really liked getting it from them. They've been really good and consistent. And then also, let's see if there's any other ones. Lombard, Model Train stuff. There's quite a few out there that you can buy, most of the big ones, but I would say Train World's probably going to be your best bet, but I've also found it in plenty of other places. And for buying Kato Unitrack, I'll do pretty much the same thing. I'll buy it usually in bulk. Every now and then I will pick it up through Amazon, but I do check and make sure that the store I'm buying it through Amazon is this link back to a local hobby shop, so that they're just kind of like a small supplier that mails their stuff into Amazon to be picked up. So at least I'm doing something to support them. But I usually only do that if I'm working on a project and I have like a little project emergency and I need to pick up a piece quick, and then my local hobby shop doesn't have the piece. So that's about the only time I'll order it off Amazon. But most time I'll do Train World, Iron Planet Hobbies, Lombard. Midwest is another one, Midwest Model Railroad. Factory Direct Hobbies, those kind of ones are the ones that I look at. Adam Malkovich asks, if you put all your train freight cars together in a line, how long would your train be? I have, this one doesn't feel very full. I must have a lot on here. Yeah, I got a lot on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 9 boxes of 27 cars each. If I can get that back in where it goes. Ah, there we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh, no, don't fall out. Okay, so if we're looking at 9, let's just take what I have in storage, and that's still not everything I have. So let's say 9 boxes with 27 cars each, 243 cars. I'm not counting all of that. So 243 cars, we'll just say they average out to about 50, or this is hard. I'll say they average out to 60 feet in length, and that's a really long one. That's too long for me to do in my head. I'm going to put the number right here. So that's going to give you the rough real length right there, and then I'll add in a little bit. We'll add in like 3 feet per for spacing in between the cars, 3 or 4 feet. We'll do 4 just to be safe. And then we'll do the scale math, and here is what would it be. That was a lot of math. That was a lot of algebra right there. Logan Bonaker says, I've seen you do 3D printing videos and I just don't get the scaling, specifically to O gauge. Can you do a video? So basically what you have to do is you have to figure out your ratios. So for instance, in scale, I just know right off the top of my head is 0.00625. Like that's what it is. So one in scale foot equals 0.00625 regular feet. So that's what the scale is. And you have HO scale, which is 0.01125. I believe that's right. So you would have to put those into and divide 0.01125 by 0.00625. There is a lot of math in this episode. Just I want to say that's like you would have to divide 0.01125 by 0.00625, and I can't remember the exact number, but it's right around 183%. So when you're scaling up, so you would have to do whatever the number is in gauge, or in scale rather, and do times that by like 183%, whatever the exact number is, and that gives you your HO scale size. And then you would just go up above that from HO scale to O gauge or O scale, and that would be, I don't know what the number is off the top of my head. You have to do what the decimal is of 1 to 48, and then do that over the 1 to 87 decimal 0.01125, and I'll put that all right here, and yeah, that would be the math on that. So here's all the numbers. I'm going to put all the numbers in the description so that you can do these a lot easier. And when you're scaling, just figure out what the size of something roughly is in the real world, and then scale it down, and then base your entire model look off of that. My thing I like to do is doors, because they typically go down to the bottom, to like the very bottom of the model, and I'll scale from there. And that's what I usually scale off of. Another good thing to scale off of is bricks, and just things that you know are a fairly standard size. Y'all are making me do a lot of math and show my work. I feel like I'm in 8th grade algebra all over again. Dylan May said, would you ever like to see a run of a Southern PS4 like 1401 or something in HO or N scale? Yes, I would. Broadway Limited is coming out with a Southern Heavy Pacific. I believe it's a Heavy Pacific in their next run in N scale. I don't think there's a 1401 in it. I don't think it's specifically a PS4, but yes, you will be able to get a Heavy Pacific Southern coming out soon in N scale. And you also ask, how tall is your layout? You say that 3.5 feet is what you think is a good sitting height for a layout. Yeah, that's pretty good. I wish this was a little bit taller. I actually have this sitting on a folding table. And if I was building it, I'd actually probably get it up to about 4 feet, but that's a good operating height in my opinion. Mark DeSubsy Travels asks about the DCC EX CSB1. He's thinking about purchasing it for now, and was wondering if there's any short circuit protection that I would advise. So first of all, the CSB1, which runs my layout right now, has its own short circuit protection. It cuts off real quick, and a lot of times pops right back on, and it's just in the off position, and you have to turn the power back on, or the track to the main back on rather. So it has short circuit protection in it. It's not just going to be doing that. Actually, DCC EX has had that for its entirety. If I was looking for something for short circuit protection, I would look for a circuit breaker. I'm not sure if I can 100% say that an NCE circuit breaker would work, but the way it works, it seems like it should. There's also stuff from Tam Valley. That's another one. So if you want to do short circuit protection, CSB1 is going to have it just fine, but you can also do power districts with those devices. Will Raleigh 5611 says that he wants to know how hard would it be to build an HO scale wig-wag signal, which is what this is. I'm going to put a picture up. And would it be to scratch build one of those and modify it? So he says because a lot of manufacturers don't make it. Well, if you're comfortable making all of the parts and having a little bit of hardware that it moves back and forth, I think you could do this with a simple servo and just have it triggered with an Arduino or whatever your control mechanism is. And I don't think it'd be that hard. You just have to have the servo mounted beneath your layout and probably running just a little brass or metal rod up to it that would make it go back and forth, and you would just have to make sure you got a way to do that back and forth. But in terms of a wig-wag signal, I think that it wouldn't be as hard as you would think it would, as long as you can actually build the materials. Durbinator94 asks, am I going to Altoona this year? I am not going to Altoona. I'm still in the very young kids part of my life, and I can't get around to too many shows. My big show this year that I'm going to is the NMRA show in Chattanooga. It's about 4 hours driving from me. I do want to go to Altoona. It is on my list of shows to go to. I think just going to Pennsylvania in general. I was talking with someone that's working with the York show, and I told them, I was like, have you heard the Altoona show? And they were like, no, I haven't heard the Altoona show, because they're a big O-scaler. And I told them it was in Pennsylvania, and they're like, Pennsylvania is becoming like the unofficial like North American mecca for model trains. So, but yes, I want to go to Altoona. I'm not going this year, but it is on my list of shows to go to, along with, I've never even been to Amherst, and that's one that I want to get to. I want to get to a train fest. I want to get to a Rocky Mountain train show. And I also want to get to some of the not quite as big of ones. I want to get to the big RPM, the St. Louis RPM. I want to get to the, I actually want to get to the Cocoa Beach show. That's usually like the show that kicks off the show season for model railroading. My regular ones that I go to are the Asheville train shows, the Western North Carolina train show. I go to the Hickory, North Carolina train show. I go to the train show at the North Carolina Transportation Museum. I think I'm going to start making the Raleigh train show in the fall a regular show. And then I also want to start hitting up some South Carolina shows, like the Columbia show. There's a few others that I want to hit up. I'm starting to kind of spread out. Something I can figure out to do with my kids. I'm not really going to like do any presentations or anything. I just like going and spending way too much money. But that was a really long answer to say that I won't be at Altoona this year, but it is on my list to go to. Okay, if you want to have your question answered in next month's Coffee and Trains, here's how you do it. Just put the question in the comments below. Try to get them in within the first week of the video coming out. That's when I collect them and start to write the videos to do and all of these different things. So that's about the time that I have to do that, because I can't answer every question, or else this video would be like an hour and a half long and I wouldn't be able to make it. But yeah, just try to get those questions in as fast as you can. You can put them in the comments below, and I will answer as many as I can before we do that. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, drink some coffee, and happy railroading.